You know, there's only so many times you can have a crisis to the point where you're just now being overdramatic. Welcome to my first installment of Comicsplain, where I do my best attempt to explain to you guys some certain comics and certain key issues and graphic novels that are in either the DC or the Marvel Universe. Today's episode is going to be about DC, and I figured the best way to start is kind of to start from the middle in, since there's so many stories that kind of interconnect like a big old Yggdrasil type tree. So today we're going to start with Infinite Crisis, because Crisis on Infinite Earths is a little bit of a dated story and it kind of destroyed the multiverse. And then Final Crisis is something else I want to talk about, but that's going to be after, because Infinite Crisis happened a little bit in the middle. So Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, and then Final Crisis. So basically there's a lot of crises in DC. In a nutshell, what happened in Crisis on Infinite Earths, I'm going to have a whole video for, but to give you a synopsis, the Anti-Monitor was created when the multiverse was created, and the Anti-Monitor is basically this giant cosmic being computer entity that it's really hard to explain. But when he was created, he wanted to destroy the multiverse and take it all together to destroy this thing called antimatter that he could basically eat and become stronger with. I'm not really sure what he does with it. But at the end of the day, the DC universe had to step in and stop him from destroying all of the Earths that the DC universe had already created. But at the end of the day, Crisis on Infinite Earths did destroy all of the multiverse. So there was only one Prime Earth after that, and like that's what DC was mostly focusing on. And so all of that, it kind of forms into Infinite Crisis. But there are also some certain events that happened in order to get into Infinite Crisis, and I'm going to explain those right now. The key events that happened pre-Infinite Crisis that you have to pay attention to is the creation of Brother Eye and the Omax, which plays a larger role later, as well as Maxwell Lord hacking into the back computer and taking over Brother Eye and making the Omax turn on the superheroes of the world. And then there's another event that happens where Wonder Woman basically snaps Maxwell Lord's neck. I keep saying Maxwell Lord's neck. And then there's this whole civil war in space with Ron, which is the planet that Adam Strange visits in a certain boom tube type thing. And like he travels there and has a girlfriend there. There's like a whole species of Ronians or Ranians or whatever. And Thanagar. So Thanagar's the homeworld of Hawkman and Hawkwoman. So they're at war with each other. And then there's this whole thing with the Spectre. He's basically being tricked with the Black Diamond, which is Eclipso, to be an enemy of magic. And not only did he take the wizard Shazam, he basically killed him and also took away Captain Marvel, aka Shazam. So all that happened pre-Infinite Crisis, and so now we're at the first issue of Infinite Crisis. So let's just get right into it. Everyone's kind of on the fence with a Wonder Woman's outlook on morality because of how she killed Maxwell Lord in cold blood, and everyone was literally watching her do it. But given the circumstances, I kind of agree with her. But we're going to keep moving on. Anyway, there are also these shadowy figures in the first issue that are passing judgment on this Earth as every event that they see, and they start saying like who's bad and who's good and like who's doing what, and it's kind of weird because they never show you who it is until the end of the issue. So that's what we're going to talk about in a bit. But there are some events that happen, of course, like Nightwing going to Bloodhaven and seeing all of these cyborg Olmacs all over the place. And it gets pretty crazy because Mongol attacks Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman's about to take his head off, but Superman stops her. And then at the end of the comic, it is revealed that the four shadowy figures are actually Superman from Earth 2, who's the original Superman from the Golden Age with Mr. Fantastic streak in his hair, Lois Lane Kent, who's his wife, and then we have Superboy Prime from Prime Earth, where Superboy exists and there are no other superheroes. And then, of course, we have Alexander Luthor, who is a Luthor, but he actually has these, I cannot even explain his abilities, but he has metahuman abilities, and he's a lot different from Luthor. First of all, he has a full head of hair. The second issue, we go into Power Girl because we don't really know much about her origin. It's been kind of speculated after Crisis on Infinite Earths with the death of Supergirl. So with this, we don't really know who she is, but it turns out she is just the Supergirl from Earth 2, as it is revealed to her by Superman from Earth 2 himself. But because of the destruction of the multiverse, because of Crisis on Infinite Earths, Alexander Luthor created a pocket dimension into which they can still exist and still live. But there, they were able to watch over all of the events that the DC universe was happening, including Superman dying, Jason Todd dying, and a lot of catastrophe stuff just happening right before their very eyes. And so they assume that this world is corrupt. Like, why did all the multiverse die in order to save this world? And so they don't understand that. And so what they're basically trying to do is they're bringing the multiverse back so that they could all have a home. But as a result, this Earth may or may not be destroyed as a way of bringing the multiverse back. And while that is something that Power Girl is on the fence about, they're still trying to go to the Earth and trying to recruit people like Batman and the Earth 1 Superman in order to join them. But it's getting very hard to convince them because it also involves leaving their own world. And remember the whole thing I said about Brother Eye and the Olmacs? Well, basically, Brother Eye is kind of Batman's fault, and that's why the League kind of starts divided, and Batman isolates himself in the Batcave because he feels partially responsible for a lot of the things the Olmacs have done. And so he also feels partially responsible for the death of Blue Beetle because he was the one that was looking into the conspiracy and died at the hands of Maxwell Lord. And it really sucks because now there's no Blue Beetle. Anyway, Brother Eye is basically this Overwatch thing that Batman made in order to keep superhumans in check, kind of like his Tower of Babel with Ra's al Ghul when he used it on the Justice League. But this is a whole other thing. Brother Eye can create these synthetic androids called Olmacs that are capable of fighting and, detaining or killing superhumans. And what really sucks is that Maxwell Lord hacked into the Batcomputer and made Brother Eye obey him. And then Maxwell Lord dies, and Brother Eye is just all sentient. It's like really creepy, like HAL 9000 type shit. And the worst part is Brother Eye literally dispatches a protocol called Truth and Justice where the Olmacs go to Paradise Island, aka Themyscira, and start killing the Amazons. And Artemis and Wonder Woman are literally fighting for their lives and trying to get their sisters to safety. And so she has to convince and pray to the Greek gods like Athena and Zeus to hide Paradise Island and make Themyscira disappear again. And it really shatters her because now Wonder Woman will never know where Themyscira is again. Like, she was already banished and had to find her way back there, and now she's never going to know where it is. And it really sucks because a lot of stuff happens to Wonder Woman, and how she is on the fence about killing and where she is morally, it kind of tears away at her, even when she finds Wonder Woman from Earth 2 that speaks to her. And she really tells her that everybody makes mistakes, even superheroes, even as Superman makes mistakes. And she says to not get down on herself for it because the world needs her. The world needs Superman, and the world needs Wonder Woman. All of the superheroes are needed. Like, they're very necessary for this world. And with all the shit happening, it's very apparent that they're needed. Up to this point, Superboy Prime was kind of just a whiny little baby about Connor Kent because, oh, he had the life that I want. He has a girlfriend. He has all his stuff. But Superboy Prime on his Earth is just Superboy, and there's not like a Teen Titans or there's no Justice League. So, like, he believes that he was kind of cheated out of his world. And I mean, I get it. It's true. But why is he going to take it out on Connor Kent? He had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the multiverse being destroyed. Take it up with the Anti-Monitor, who's actually just a destroyed corpse now because of the Crisis on Infinite Earths events. But back to what I'm saying, Alexander Luthor and Superboy Prime were actually playing the long game. It is revealed later in the issues. Even after Themyscira is gone and certain events with Earth 2 Superman, Alexander Luthor and Superboy Prime have actually been manipulating a lot of the stuff that has been occurring in this Earth, including Lex Luthor's gathering of the Secret Society, which is, Dr. Psycho and then Sivana and Black Adam and like and Psycho Pirate, like this team of supervillains. And usually when we see him do that, he's wearing this black suit. But in other instances, he's wearing green armor. So we don't know as the readers that those are two completely different Luthors. But Alexander Luthor, the one with hair, the one that's from another Earth, was actually projecting a hologram to recruit the Secret Society in order to do his own means and gather superheroes to this thing he calls the Cosmic Tuning Tower, which I myself like to call the Golden Giant Dildo Tower. I mean, this thing literally looks like something Trump would make in his own honor. Like, it's gold, it's giant, it's cylinder shaped. It looks like a dick. But basically, this entire tower is also made from the corpse of the Anti-Monitor. And Alexander Luthor has these little capsules in there, and you're like, what's in there? They're actually people that have been captured and taken by the Secret Society, which is a team of supervillains, you know, Deathstroke, Black Adam, like I said before, and Superboy Prime. And he's also responsible for basically detaining and taking this Earth's Martian Manhunter. And that's why we haven't really heard from him, because Superboy Prime snuck up on him and took him out. And it's pretty crazy. Superboy Prime is powerful AF. Like, even now, just as Superboy, like, Superboy Prime gets more upgrades later, but again, we're gonna get to that. So like I said, the Superman from Earth 2 as well as the Lois Lane from Earth 2 now come to this Earth. And unfortunately, Alexander Luthor led him to believe that Lois was going to be saved if the multiverse was going to be saved, but that was a big fat lie. And he realizes that as soon as he's on the Prime Earth with Lois, Superman starts to see her dying, and she's getting weak, and she dies right there in her arms, and it's really messed up. And then the Prime Superman comes to him, and he's in distress, and he's obviously just so emotional and vulnerable, and he sees this Superman and like literally lifts a car, like from the iconic cover of Action Comics, and fights Superman. Just starts brawling with him, and it's in the middle of Metropolis, so it's really messed up. So like I said, Superboy has been a little whiny bitch about Connor Kent, and so he had to ask Alexander if he could go see Connor Kent. So he goes to see him with Martha and Jonathan and tries to get him to admit that he's not Superboy. And it leads to this whole brawl that kind of brings Superboy out of retirement, and they're just like visioning and punching and throwing and flying everywhere. But then you see the Titan signal in Superboy's hand, and the Titans all come together, as well as Beast Boy bringing the Doom Patrol, and I forget. No, the Flash brought the Justice Society. So they're all going up against Superboy Prime. And Superboy Prime is holding his own because he's fucking Superboy. And it's literally broad daylight, so of course he's super powerful. But he is taking out fucking Titans left and right, like Panther, and he is heat visioning people, but he's looking at blood on his hands like, oh god, I did not mean to do this. So he doesn't know his own strength. And then this psycho is taking more lives and killing people, asking, why are you doing this? Like, why are you attacking me? I'm Superboy. Like, he's trying to get everyone to admit that he's Superboy, and the Connor Kent that he's attacking isn't. But he's not having an easy time with it. And so all the Flashes, like Jay Garrick and Bart Allen and Kid Flash, they all come together and start taking Superboy Prime to another dimension so that he doesn't kill any more people. And they literally have to run so fast that he just disappears, as well as the Flashes disappear. It is then revealed that Alexander Luthor's plan this whole time was to find this perfect Earth. And now some of the heroes and villains are in this cosmic tuning tower, and their powers are being absorbed into it. And the Psycho Pirate, who at the time, this guy with just a golden mask that can manipulate people's emotions, he was the one manipulating Eclipso so that the Spectre could take away the magic, so that it could just be raw energy that's untapped. And so they even asked Black Adam to say the word Shazam, so that when the Cosmic Tuning Tower gets shot by that lightning, it finally, boom, gives birth to the entire multiverse again. So now the multiple Earths exist once again, but Alexander Luthor's plan isn't done. And neither is Superboy Prime, unfortunately. But, you know, the Cosmic Tuning Tower is going up there with Psycho Pirate and Alexander Luthor. And Alexander is very aware of the repercussions that he's doing. He knows that Lois is dead, and he knows that Superman 2 is pissed about it, and he knows that Superboy Prime is gone, but he doesn't care. He's still like waiting to do his plan, and it's still yet to be undone, and it's about to be. But now he doesn't know that Superboy Prime is back, and that all of this battling that they're doing on the surface is getting interrupted by him. Like, he's just crashing and flashing through, and he has this new armor that could absorb yellow sunlight, and it's literally just flowing yellow sunlight into his body. So now he's more powerful than Superboy or Superman. So like, he's taking Supergirl and Superman and Superboy left and right and just wrecking people. And this dude is one of the most powerful villains in the DCU. And that's why this comic basically solidifies him in that Hall of Fame of villainy. And it's really sad because in this fight, Superboy does take Connor Kent, that Superboy. And like, it was such a crazy, crazy fight. And then it finally took Superman and the other Superman to finally step in and take on this fucking Superboy Prime, who's still in this armor, and he's still super powerful. Even a whole group of Green Lanterns step into the fight to take on Superboy Prime, and they barely even make a dent in him. This dude just laughs it off, and he's so goddamn OP. And then finally they put his ass through a red sun, taking away most of his powers. But not without taking the Superman from Earth 2. The OG Golden Age Superman. He beat him and pummeled him to death. And then finally the other Superman stopped him. And now Superboy is trapped in this green, I hope made of kryptonite prison. But that's at the end of Infinite Crisis. You just see this big S that he heat visioned into his chest. And he says that I've escaped better prisons than this. And so we know that Superboy Prime is not done. And then also that the Cosmic Tuning Tower was destroyed in the fight between Superboy and Superboy Prime. So that's how the multiverse was also restored. But also, you know, nothing bad really happened because Alexander Luthor's machine didn't destroy this Prime Earth. And everything's kind of back to normal. But Alexander Luthor tries to slip away and leave and say, like, I'll come back with a better plan. But he's stopped by an acid flower from Joker, and his face is melted off. Because of all of his secret society of villains, the hologram Luthor, that wasn't the real Luthor, came to the real Luthor, told him he was stupid, and also that he didn't want the Joker on his team because he's too wild. Joker found out about that, and he was not happy. And so Lex literally tells him, you didn't let the Joker play. Now who's stupid? Hey guys, don't forget to like this video and share with your friends. And please subscribe to this page as well as my other page, Lou's Comics. These Comicsplain videos will be uploaded to both accounts, but my Director Z page will be more dedicated to my filmmaking as well as my short films and my feature lengths and anthologies. And my Lou's Comics will be more dedicated to my gaming as well as my cooking and as well as these comic videos. So please don't forget to subscribe to both those pages and stay tuned for more content.